All righty. Ryan Schlutz is one of the most creative young card guys out there. He's an author, a working performer, and has numerous instructional DVDs. Ryan will be appearing at Penguin MAXX South in Petersburg, Florida on May 31st through June 1st, 2019. And he'll be appearing alongside David Stone, Garrett Thomas, Dan Harlan, and Nick Lacapo, to name just a few of the magicians from the lineup. If it's at all possible, you guys need to come out to Penguin MAXX South. You got to come see this. You got to come see Ryan. You got to come see all the other magicians at Penguin. And we are talking with Ryan today. How are you, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I don't think I deserve that introduction, but I appreciate the good words. So that was really nice of you.
I was going for a record of how many times I could say Ryan in like one sentence.
I counted 18. I think it's
Yep.
probably personal best. That's probably pretty
Yeah.
good.
No, we're totally stoked to have you out at Penguin MAXX and to share some of your epic card stuff and some of
Yeah,
the other things.
I'm excited. I know it's one of those events that I always see people. I always see online people post about. I'm glad I finally can attend one. It's my first MAXX, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be there.
Awesome. Awesome. I was curious if at the beginning of this, if we could start with your beginning. What was your beginning in magic? How did it all start for you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an original story. I mean, that's the only. I started in third grade. You know, it was a talent show. I needed to do something kind of cool. I always had an affinity for magic. I loved it. I always watched World's Greatest Magic on TV. I even taped it on a VHS tape and rewatched it. That's how long ago that was. So my mom actually taught me my first trick was where you kind of pull a string through your neck, take a shoelace, and you kind of do this, and right through your neck. It's awesome. Still a good trick today. So I learned that, and I did that for my show in like a talent show and tell in third grade, and the kids were kind of like didn't react at all. I was like, oh, okay, I suck. And then it wasn't until after the show was over that they all came up to me and they're like, what was that? How'd you do that? And so I took them being quiet as not caring, but actually they're just stunned because they just never seen something like that before. So that's when I kind of first was like, oh, I like this feeling, and I love that feeling of bringing people wonder. So I was kind of hooked from an early age, and then kind of followed that path up to high school. In high school, I kind of met a friend who was really into magic, way more than I was, and he kind of took me under his wing and kind of brought me up to, I would say, a more knowledgeable state. And then college, I performed all through college, and even then, I didn't know there was a magic scene. I just didn't know that was a thing. I was watching Michael Mars Card Miracles, and that was it. I didn't know there was conventions and all these resources, so I was kind of self-taught and had a few mentors, and that was it until after college, and that's when I finally went, whoa, there's a whole world about this stuff. So that's kind of like in a nutshell. That's like kind of my beginnings, I guess. So
Awesome. Awesome. So you have kind of risen to the top of, I mean, you're creating a whole bunch of magic. You've written a book. You've been on tons of DVDs. Uh, you're an inspiring guy, but I'm curious, who out there inspires you? Yeah, who out there do you look to for inspiration?
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's all I want at this point in my life and magic. That's all I want to do is like give it back because of that reason. I mean, so many people inspire me and taught me that if I could pass just a small bit of knowledge down to someone else, that will make my life. Makes me feel good. My early inspirations, I mean, I would say when I first started out, like I said, I was a Michael Omar like groupie. I think most people my age or around my age all grew up that easy to
Oh yeah.
master. I don't know if you watch them too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Easy to Master
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah.
card.
I
Yeah.
had volumes 1 through 6 or 1 through 5, and that's all that was the extent of my card knowledge was that I just mastered all those routines. I just did all those routines. Then I kind of fell into Martin Nash, and he was a really big influence. So a lot of my crimp work and all that stuff was all learned from him. And it wasn't until later that I first saw Leonard Green, and that's when my world was completely changed. He was the first guy I saw do, I would say, chaotic magic.
Uh-huh.
Because up until that point, everyone was very like Darwin Ortiz, not Darwin Ortiz, like even Michael Amar. Everyone was very clean. Magic was very fluid. It wasn't chaotic. I saw Leonard Green, my mind was just, what is this? He's dropping the deck. He's blindfolded. I'm like, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I remember he came to Florida for a convention. Actually, my first convention I went to, I saw him, and I was just blown away. And I was just addicted to that style and that thinking. That's really when my style completely changed. So if you read my first book and you read my newest books, you'll see that they're completely 180 of style and thinking. And it's probably because of that moment. That's where it all changed for me.
Did you first see him on World's Greatest Magic?
Leonard Green, yeah, the laser deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the laser deal, and I don't know about you, I watched that thing in slow motion 1,000 times. And
Oh yeah.
I still didn't know how it worked. I was like, what is this This guy's a warlock.
Yeah.
So,
that was like my first exposure to like real visual magic stuff that like it just looks like a camera trick that you just can't imagine looks like that in real life.
Because man, I remember being like disappeared, and I was like, what? And when it finally got online, I think it was even prior YouTube. It was I would show friends that laser deal. Like, oh Ryan, who do you like? I was like, well, I'll show you a guy, and I would just show them that, and they would be like, that's fake. I go, no, it's real. You don't understand. It's so good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And then I would say and later influences was more like I tell everyone who knows me knows this. It's like Eddie Fields is probably my biggest change for me as well. Because once I started kind of going down that principle route and kind of more subtleties, a friend of mine said, hey, have you read the Eddie Fields book? And I was like, no, I haven't. So I found it, bought it, and then I read it cover to cover. It's probably to this day, it's the only book I've read more than once. So I'm probably on my fourth reading or something like that. Usually books I read, I might go back to one trick. That one I just read throughout because it pulls you in. It's so good. So much smart stuff in that book. Very inspirational.
Yeah. Well, with Martin Nash and Leonard Green, do you do a lot of with Martin Nash especially? I think of like gambling magic and stuff. Do you have a whole lot of gambling magic?
I did. Yeah.
Back,
this is no one's seen it. I mean, this is back when I was first getting into magic. For the first 15 years, I didn't create anything. Right, I just did magic. And because of Nash, I was doing gambling routines, but I wasn't like a strict like poker dealer. I was doing like more. Thought of like more mentalism, more mental magic. I was doing like more thought of hands, and like you would show cards, put it underneath their hand, and then later on it would change to their royal flush and that kind of stuff. So more of those kind of thinking. But yeah, I mean, I was practicing my terrible pharaohs, and Jesus, I used to be good, like technically wise. I had skills, but then I slowly over the years, I think mostly just time. Once I started working and this and that, and taking on other hobbies and other interests. Once I kind of went the principal route, my actual chops disappeared more into where they are today. Whereas now I'm just working smart, not hard, kind of thing. So, yeah. Which I think a lot of people go that route. People kind of go like this, up and down. Because I mean, this weekend I ran to Bill Earl, and that guy, his Past Midnight DVD, the guy's a freaking maniac, sleight of hand. Oh yeah. And they had a 3-hour conversation on how the crisscross force was the best force in all forces. With him, This is him saying this.
Yeah, and I can do anything.
Yeah, it's like think about it. It is one of the strongest forces ever. I think as magicians we learn it and go cool, and we move on because we learn all these cooler techniques. Mm-hmm. But I know they did like the jerks. You read the jerks at all?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he says he did a study. You never know with him, right? But
yeah.
According to the study, the crisscross was the number one force of all forces. And so that then it's true. I mean, it really is, because you think about it, you hold it in your hand, they hold the deck, they cut to the table, they mark the position, you talk, and then they look at the card they cut to. So for their memory, you did nothing, they did it all. So it is a pretty fair force. But
yeah.
But yeah, to your original question, yeah, I used to be a big table worker kind of guy, which that was a short-lived. That was probably like a few years of my life where I thought that was magic. That's all. That's what good magic was. And then when I started doing a lot of walk around, all that went out the window. You know what I mean? Then it was like, what could I fit in my pocket? What can I do standing? What could I do without a table? So then I had to relearn. Basically, it was intimidating. I remember my first walk around gig. I wasn't prepared. I went to it thinking, and then I got there and I was like, oh crap, there's no tables. It was bad. I mean, I got through it, but it was just. I had to quickly become better at it. Let's just say that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I was the exact same, doing all these like poker deals and things, and looking around for tables, and everybody's just standing up and doing stuff on the floor and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So you're a well-read guy. You mentioned the Eddie Fields book, and a couple other books. What do you find yourself recommending for other magicians, either pros or beginners? What do you find yourself recommending to guys who are looking for?
Yeah. Yeah,
Stuff?
I guess it depends what they're looking for. People who like my style of magic, obviously I recommend Eddie Fields' book because that's a given. Just this weekend we're talking about other books, like Harry Lorraine's Close Up Card Magic. That's another good one because I think that's a good mixture of principle based, sleight of hand, and just good thinking. So that's a really good one I recommend to people. I mean, as far as if you're just a beginner getting the magic, that whole Big Blind Media series, the self-working card tricks, those things are, I mean, what a great collection of stuff, right? I mean, I know I'm on two of them, but I wasn't on the first one. So that's what the first one I saw that, and I was like, man, I wish I had this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because they just curated some kick butt tricks, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say if you're starting off, those are probably good things, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. All of your, um, actually, I think that's interesting. I remember hearing about you as with like the pivotal peak and things, and a couple of these like kind of move monkey things
Yeah.
that you had popped out,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you start releasing these like self-working magic effects and start going down the principal route.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what are you looking for when you create your magic? What are your goals? What's your creative process like?
Yeah, because I think my magic. I had this conversation with this weekend with a few people. Like, why do you prefer this presentation versus this presentation, right? And I told them, like, you know what? It's really depends on where I'm performing. Like when I was doing restaurant magic, everything was a certain way. Everything was like quick and it had many phases that could be shortened or lengthened. How long, so because I don't know when the food's coming and all these things. And then I got into doing. Then I started hanging out with magicians, and this is more of, I guess, an ego thing. None of my tricks would ever fool them. It's because it was just all like, double lifts, this and that, things they've seen. They're like, oh, cool presentation. Hey, that's a really good combination of ideas. But I never fooled them. So then I just became obsessed. I was like, you know what? I want to fool a layman and I want to fool a magician with the same trick, right? So I learned all of those bad, like at first, the very procedural tricks that, yeah, are fooling, but I think they're just fooling because they're boring. And you just forget where the card was and you just don't care. Right. So those are good, like foundational things, I think, just to get the principles in your head. Then I became a rule where I wanted that hands-off magic, but I wanted it to be entertaining, So a lot of my things have no dealing. You'll notice that's one thing. And none of my things have dealing ever. I don't hold breaks anymore because I realize you don't have to because it looks more clean. What is cleaner? A hand like this or a hand like just open, the deck's freely moving?
Yeah.
So I started just developing this whole little style of just like that carefree, like anything could happen. And that's kind of where the magic kind of went to at first. Like the pivotal peak was like, that's a very difficult move at first to learn because it's just very knacky. But that's because at the time I was just hanging out with people who were so good, like Coach Kimlet and these kind of guys who are freaking amazing. And they were doing like, calling and this and that. So I thought, at the time I was like, well, I want to do that kind of magic, So I think a lot of my stuff is just influenced by who I'm showing at the time. And lately my presentations are very social because when I'm doing tricks now, I'm with friends at a table. So all my presentations are constantly engaging. Here, you shuffle this, because I'm not doing like a close-up show where they're just watching me. And in my magic, they're all part of the show. They're all part of the trick. So I look for like as many places as possible to involve them. You see a lot of my most recent tricks, the person's doing just as much as work as I am now, but not just more, they're more engaged in the trick. So like I feel my stuff is way better in person than on DVD. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's being in the room and being in the environment and helping me out. That's what makes it fun, so.
Yeah. Some of that translates. That's one thing that stands out with you is you can tell that when you're performing on DVD, that the people that are there with you, that they're enjoying it, that they're really getting it.
Oh,
where with some guys out there, it's like the trick might look good, but then everybody is like, it's like asleep. Yeah. While watching it. So, and I feel like you've got a good balance there. I'm curious. So I wish I could ask, what's your favorite like creation that you've ever done and things. But I think that becomes really big. So I'm going to get a little morbid here, okay?
Okay.
But
Okay.
when you die, what do you want people to know you for? What do
So,
you want? What do you want your impact on Magic to be? What do you want? Ryan Schlutz, like people go
yeah,
back to
yeah, I
to
got it.
Vernon. You got to be natural or whatever it might be. Ryan Schlutz, what did you bring to Magic that nobody else is going to bring, or what do you want people to look back at you for?
That's a good point because maybe I haven't. I hope I live a lot more years, so maybe I haven't come up with that yet. But as of today, I guess. I mean, I I guess I'm trying to put it into words. It's a good question though. I like the thinking because because you're right. It's not a trick I want people to remember me for. I want people to remember me for a feeling, for a style. Um, man, that's a good.
I guess it could be a trick that maybe encapsulates a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I think I read that. That's a good. You stumped me, my friend. Uh, who I think I guess if I had to answer, no, I guess it would be a feeling. I guess I want people to go like, oh, like because a lot of my stuff is like principles that people know, right? But I just like I use the pencil dot in a trick, and I can tell you, hey, this trick uses a pencil dot, and I'll do the trick for you, and at the end of it, you're going, okay, you lied to me. There's no way that's a pencil dot. I mean, it makes no sense, right?
Right.
And I had this happen. So I feel like in the day, I want people to remember me as okay. Ryan was a guy who took something and then squeezed the last drop, or maybe the last squeeze out of it. And also just think back to like when people say self-working card magic. I guess yeah, I got it. As I'm talking, I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Like when people say self-working card magic, I want my name to come up in the first three names. That would make me the happiest guy ever, knowing that
Right.
that was a thing. People would say, "Hey, you want some really hard hitting, easy magic?" Then go, "Oh, Ryan,"
Yeah, yeah.
because I obviously have a hard time with a self-working title. I mean, nothing's it's because every when you remove a move, you have to be increasingly more engaging, right?
Yep.
So I feel like that is not always easy. That becomes a whole its own sleight of hand in a way, bringing the engagement
Mhm.
or making it feel like there's no procedure. So yeah, I guess in the nutshell that would be it. It's this someone because I mean I've seen it happen today. I go online, someone says, "Oh, what's a good DVD to learn new to card magic?" And they mention my DVD. I'm always like, yes, that's a great feeling, and that's all I kind of want to remember for. I guess when I'm long gone and some kid just wants to learn card magic and he's like, "Who is this Ryan guy?" And just like Eddie Fields, I never met Eddie Fields, but after reading his book, I feel like I know him personally, only because I relate mentally to his card, his thinking. Like I feel like we think the same, or I think like him at
Mhm.
least, because obviously he was before me. So I feel like we're kind of like tied together in that sense. So even though I never met him, I feel like he's part of me in a way. So
Yeah,
that'd be kind of a cool thing to happen as well for me. So yeah.
yeah. So that's what's going to be in the future. It's going to be like John Bannon, Carl Foles, Ryan Schlutz,
Yeah, that
right?
would
That's
oh,
what.
that would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
obviously John Bannon comes up today, like he's probably one of the first people's names.
Uh-huh.
This weekend I fooled the crap out of him, so
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. It's just your climb. Yeah, there are
yeah,
casualties on the rise to the top, right?
yeah. I was
John.
lucky to befriend him like in 2009. So it's been 10 years since I know Bannon,
Yeah.
and I just came up to him. I was like, "Hey, sir, can I show you something?" And he could tell he did not want to see it, but I had a version of one of his tricks, and after he saw it, he was like, "Actually, that was pretty good." And he's like, "Come meet Simon Aronson and come meet this other guy." And he introduced me to
Yeah.
all these friends I have today are all because he just introduced me to a bunch of people and kind of introduced me into that world.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's definitely one guy that I look up to today. So
Now, you guys have worked together as well, right? Or you've appeared on the same on any of the Big Blind Media things. Have you guys
I don't
appeared
think
on the
we
same
ever
video?
actually been on the same DVD at the same time, but I think I probably were one of his. I think one of his tricks were in the DVD. Maybe I performed it or someone like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're actually in the same space yet, at least. That'd be
Yeah.
cool to do a project with him. Maybe I'll put that out in the ether. Bannon and
Yeah.
Ron team up. Yeah, that's
John
funny.
Bannon, if you're watching this.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always gives me crap. And then this weekend, he's like running because he assumes every trick I do has a pencil dot. That's kind of his running
Yeah.
joke. Which a lot of them do, only because I got obsessed with pencil dots for a while there. But some of my newest ones, which I don't think you guys have seen, which at the MAXX, I'll be introducing some new tricks out there that don't use pencil dots. that are something like so that aren't released anywhere. So my plan is to show them there for the first time. So that'd be awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, so if you're unaware to this point, Ryan Schultz knows a lot about card magic, right? And kind of a hot button topic right now. There was an article in the UK talking about card magic on Britain's Got Talent, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it says in the article, it says viewers have had enough of card tricks, it seems, and tonight they lashed out at Britain's Got Talent after another lengthy act. It goes on to talk about how there was like protests on Twitter, and that there are certain people who want to ban card tricks altogether on Britain's Got Talent, and that they're sick of it all. So my question to you is, what do you say to people who say that we have had too many card tricks, or that there's just too much card magic out there?
That's shenanigans. Let's be real about that. That's complete shenanigans. I mean, I'm sure there's people who hate card magic, but I'm going to say even those people still love it deep down. Because, for instance, I know people like that go, oh, like they got a convention, whatever. People say, oh, I'm tired of card tricks. Meanwhile, I'll show them a card trick and they love it, right? So I don't think they hate card tricks. Maybe they're sick of a certain type of card trick. Maybe something that's very procedural or very linear. So I think, like, obviously Shin Lim just won American Got Talent twice with card tricks. Other magicians have won the talent with card tricks. So, I mean, there's definitely a love for them. I just think when it comes to selection and routining and staging of it, I think that's just for TV, it has to be really well thought out because, on TV time, just dealing a couple of cards might feel like eternity to the viewer because they're not in the moment. So I think you just got to think extra hard. Okay. Like for me, for instance, people ask me, hey, Ryan, why don't you go on like audition for America Got Talent? I go, listen, my tricks play really well for certain scenarios, but not for TV, right? I would have to rethink my trick completely to go on TV. And I know that. So I think it's just like using that kind of filter. So that's really all it comes down to. So to answer your original question, no, card tricks belong on TV. I think they will always be there. I just think it's all about how you put it together. Really, it comes down to it. So.
Yeah. I think of some of my favorite performers like Juan Tamariz or Woody Aragon or Danny Dortiz or whatever. These guys, I mean, they're or like the Shin Lims out there. These guys, they create their entire act out of card magic, and really, you don't go to see a card trick. You don't go to see Danny Dortiz do a card trick. You go to hang out with this guy who was so funny and so like magnetic and things. And
like Tom is just freaking. He's a crazy person, on stage, and it's entertaining. And for instance, I saw him on video first, and I didn't quite understand why people liked it. I was like, this is kind of and then I saw him in person, and then you feel the energy in the room, and you're like, what is this? This is amazing, And you see like an Aussie Win who does card magic exclusively. He does other stuff too, but a lot of times, like a Joe Barry, these guys are all card guys who just bring such unique style and flair and personality to it that you love it. If you just go up there and force a card and say, "Oh, it's in my wallet," it's just not good card magic. You know what I mean? It's just too linear, too direct, too what people expect card magic to be. So that's why when the Shin Lim goes on there and doing God knows what, markers are appearing out of his everywhere. It's just that's when people go, "What is this? This is so like this is what they expect. It's up here, it's off the screen as far as their expectations go." So that's why it works, and that's why people like it.
Yeah, I think with Shin Lim too, I've had this reaction a couple times when I'll talk to people, just lay people about Shin Lim. I'll mention that all he does is card magic, and they'll be like, "Wait," and they'll take a second and they'll go, "I guess that's right." But yeah, everything that he's done has been card magic. And Shin Lim, I've seen him do other things, and he does awesome other magic with cell phones and coins and stuff. That's great. But everything that he's done on TV in the last couple of years has been card magic. And I think I don't think these people on Twitter would say we need to ban Shin Lim because all he's doing is card magic. I think that they're looking for something else. But
yeah, I mean, I think they just took one performance that they didn't like, and they're trying to just go to the extreme, which makes no sense. And you said, I think you hit it, right on the, right. You hit it perfectly with your phrase saying like how people don't even interpret Shin Lims as a card act, and I think that's true because you're right. When people that they don't say, "Wow, Shin Lim's the best card handler ever to say," which he's a really good, but they just say, "Wow, what a great act! What a great the feeling
Magician.
they
Yeah.
received. Yeah, what a great feeling! I really just enjoyed it." So
Yeah.
like, I love that he made card magic cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. I agree. So we're talking to you today because you'll be appearing at Penguin Max South, right? And if you're watching this video and Penguin Max has already happened, then like don't panic. There will be more Penguin events, and you got to make it out to those. Ryan may be at those too. What are you looking forward to do at Penguin Max, and how do you think this is going to differ than other conventions in your mind?
Yeah. For me, what I want to do, I really look forward to uh, debuting some new effects. And actually, I'm debuting a book test, something that's not card related at all. But it's not just any book test. It's like my style brought to a book test. So it's gonna be unlike anyone's ever seen. That much I can guarantee. So I literally look forward to bringing that. And then even like some of the card tricks I'm bringing are just so outside what people have seen me do that they're so unique, so different, and to me, some of those powerful things I've ever done. And then, that's what I really look forward to bringing to it and showing people is just some new thinking.
Awesome, great. So yeah, so we're gonna get not card tricks, not just card
Yes,
tricks
I at
from
least have one
Ryan.
that is
So
not a card trick. So it's
yeah,
gonna. So for all those mentalist book test lovers who like, I'm personally not a big book test fan. I think they're cool. That's just not my style. It's just I'm not that like page 31. This that's not me. So I kind of looked at it, go, how would I do it, and then just kind of really, it's very different. I don't want to give it away here, so I want to surprise
yeah,
people. But I think it's extremely different. And I showed it at this Pebble convention just passed, and I love it because everyone's face is just what I want it to be. It starts off like a book test, and they're like, okay, yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, what just happened? So it has that mode of pure shock, which is what I was going for. So then it's very different, and then it kind of fools them because it just goes a complete left turn down a rabbit hole, and then they don't have time to recover before the trick's done. And they went, okay, that was cool. So that's what I like, and that's why I'm glad I got some good feedback. Speaking of which,
awesome.
a little off
Yeah.
topic. First person I showed it to, Bill Malone.
Oh
Freak,
yeah,
talk about nerves.
yeah.
Freaking
He
skipping that.
doesn't. He doesn't. From what I understand, he doesn't come out of his like. He performs a ton and doesn't like hang out with magicians all that often.
I don't know
Was
so
that?
well.
It seems like a rare occasion to
I
be
think
able
he
to
goes to
perform
that
for him.
convention a bunch. I hear he's always there, so I think just Pebble's his place, and
Oh
that
yeah,
place is I've never been to Pebble before. I just my first time going, but as far as the attendees go, man, it's star studded. I mean, I felt like a very small fish in that giant pond. I was just like, please don't judge me. Because I turned to Bill Malone. Then over there's Jack Carpenter. Then you got John Bannon. Then it was over Danny Garcia. It was just like one guy after another. I was like, my mind can't take it. So it was cool. I was definitely like a kid in a candy store. But
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
off topic. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. That's
Yeah.
great. One thing that we try to do at Penguin Max is try to do a little bit of we've scheduled time to jam and things. So if you guys attend, then you'll be able to come down and dig for some good. I'm sure you have tons of stories with all these great guys that you've worked with. Uh, yeah.
Jam is my favorite thing. I hope
Yeah.
people come up to me. Sessioning is that's what honestly it gets me the most joy in life is having a session. Like I don't people don't I guess only magicians understand outside. People think we're crazy. We go to a hotel. Well, what'd you do in Texas? I go, I went to a hotel. What did you get out and see the sights? I go, no, I literally sat in a hotel from Thursday until Sunday. I maybe left twice to eat food, but mostly you're just talking, sharing. It's just nonstop. I love that stuff. I just eat it up all day. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So come up to me. I will show you more card tricks and stuff that you can never handle. It's no problem.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So now, before we part ways, I want to ask a little bit of a philosophical question, and
Okay.
I think it's always interesting to talk about this. What's on your mind right now when it comes to magic? What's maybe a new belief or philosophy that you've adopted that's helped to improve or change your magic for the better?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I think we all go through. It's like I think every once in a while I hit this wall where I'm like, my magic sucks. I'm not reaching people. You know, I have this like inner like dialogue, and mostly it came about because I'm reading the Jerk so much, and I just love how he thinks and presents magic.
Hmm.
He takes it so far away from him and puts it on the person, and then at the end the person doesn't know what happened. Was it a trick? Was he? They don't know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
me, I'm like, I love that feeling, and I'm trying to think, okay, how can I adapt that to what I'm doing today? You know, how can I take it away from the traditional? And like even this weekend, I have a trick I'm doing. I think I said a prediction, but then I was like, you know what? Why? Is it really a prediction? So I kind of now reword it so that it's taking away from the traditional. You know, I think we all get stuck in the same kind of like magician thinking. So I think because of the jerks and stuff like that, I'm really just trying to. I want to leave this feeling to someone, like my ultimate goal, which I tell people this is all times. I want to have this feeling where someone says, "Show me a card trick." I go, "Great," and then from their perspective, I never touched the cards, and a miracle happened. That's kind of what I want to leave in their mind. It's like it's unexplainable. It's like he never came near it. This is impossible. Yet this is completely mind blowing. And that's kind of like my ultimate goal of lately is when I'm doing my stuff is like how can I leave that feeling with them? Is it wasn't really me. It was just this situation that caused this effect, kind of thing. If that makes any sense. So that's what I'm trying to achieve lately as far as card magic goes.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that I've noticed with reading through the blog and things of the Jerks is he's really good at making like immersive magic that just feels like the entire like universe is like out to get this one person for this for a few seconds. I actually had a dream the other day that I met him and that I was surprised at who he was and stuff. And anyways, it was this funny like weird thing.
It's like I don't know if it's, I'm gonna get banned from the site for saying this, but one of the effects that I read recently that I just love, I mean effect wise, is he borrows something, it vanishes, right? And he goes, "Oh, it vanished," and it's gone, you can't find it. So he goes, "Oh, and he takes his phone and he banishes his phone. He goes, "Oh yeah, well I figured the phone will find where it went. Hey, you mind calling my phone?" And they call the phone and it rings somewhere like in like 3 rooms over. You hear the ring go off. And they chase down to it, and there's a box. In the box is the phone, and also the other object that vanished as well, like their borrowed ring or whatever. So I'm like,
so good.
I think about that. So he took their traditional ring vanish to a box on the table and just made it so much better. Because like, and to me the phone is hilarious because like he doesn't explain it. But when he says it, like, "Oh yeah, well I had to find it, so I had to get the phone." It's more like a matter of fact. Like, well, how else am I supposed to find this thing? It went somewhere. You know, so that kind of thinking is like a glimpse into what I'm trying to achieve. So,
yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming out and or coming out to Penguin MAXX and talking with us here. If you want to read more of Andy the Jerks, he has published in his stuff is online. It's also he's got a couple articles with Penguin Magic Monthly, so he's a friend of the site as well. If you want to see more of Ryan's stuff, absolutely. We've got just about everything. We've got just about everything of Ryan's. There, a good portion of it. Check out his book. Let's see, Making the Cut is the book, and then Completing the Cut is the DVD.
Yeah. And then you got all the self-working DVDs, Miracles Out Moves, Effortless Effects, and so on and so forth. So, and then I'm doing I'm doing this whole another book series on the side now. So it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and then new products coming out hopefully soon. I don't put them out quick. I'm definitely a believer in self-filtering. So until I feel like I would buy it, I don't put it out. I don't rush the market. Like it has to be something I really believe in. So if it never gets there, it never gets there. It's kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Sure. We hope everybody has a good time at Penguin MAXX, hanging out with Ryan Schlutz, and thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Take care. See ya. Bye.